These 5 credit cards that I'm going to show you today all have the ability to have over a $10,000 credit limit, and one credit card in this video has a total credit limit of $80,000, which sounds just absolutely ridiculous to even say out loud. But before I get into all 5 of those credit cards, let me know in the comments below, why do you want a higher credit limit? So now with that said, let's get right into the first credit card on our list, which is the Citi Double Cash credit card. So firstly, the most notable things on this card is there's no annual fee, 2% cashback on all purchases with no limit, and minimum of around 650 to 670 credit score to actually get approved for this credit card. And this credit card basically has a starting credit limit of $500, and that is if you just have no relationship and you're just starting out in the credit game. But if you're a little bit more seasoned and you have a few other credit cards to your name, you could possibly be approved up to $5,000, $15,000, and even on the highest, $50,000 credit limit for this credit card alone. And like I said, it's really going to depend on you specifically. So if you already have a relationship with Citibank, or if you already have multiple loans, maybe you have a home loan and a car loan and some other credit card debt across other credit cards, these are all factors that the banks are looking at, so this way they can approve you for higher and higher credit limits every single time you apply for a new credit card. So if you're a person that just got approved for this credit card and you do have a $500 limit, let me give you a couple tips on how to raise that limit. Number one, with a lot of banks, especially like Citi or Discover or even Capital One, they like to see that you're utilizing a large amount of your balance every single month, which I get it. It seems counterintuitive because everybody in the credit card community always tells you to pay off your balance in full at the end of each month. But in this case, it's a little bit different. They just want to see that you're actually using the credit card to the fullest amount of its potential and it's not just sitting in a sock drawer somewhere. This way the banks see you're using a lot of credit. Oh my God, he needs more and more credit. Let's give him more credit so he can keep using credit. You follow? Now, this doesn't mean carrying a balance for months and months on end, but it does mean that you use as much of your total balance as possible, and then at the end of each month, pay it off in full. This way, we don't have to worry about any interest fees whatsoever. One other little side thing that actually is good with this credit card is when you actually go to request a credit line increase with Citibank, they actually only do a soft pull, which means there's no hard inquiry, and that would in fact hurt your credit score just for the short term. Now, the Citi Double Cash card is an amazing card, but let me show you the second one, which a lot of people aren't talking about on YouTube nowadays. The second credit card on our list is actually the Venmo Cashback Rewards credit card. Now, I know, we only use Venmo to send to our friends and family, so this way they can owe us the money that they said they were going to give us months ago. But they actually do have a pretty cool credit card, so let me give you the breakdown. And might I add, with some pretty high limits. So this credit card also requires a credit score of around mid-600s and higher. It also comes with a $0 annual fee and a pretty interesting cashback system. For example, you get 3% cashback on your top spend category, which you can choose yourself, between a ton of different categories, including dining, entertainment, transportation, etc. And then you could actually choose a second category for 2% cashback, and then you also get 1% cashback on all other purchases. Now, anyone that does get approved for a Venmo credit card, just know that the minimum limit that you could possibly get is $250, which is, it's very low. But just scouring the internet a little bit, I found a ton of people actually getting approved for this credit card, and their starting limit was around $10,000 to $15,000. Now, again, this works into all the other factors like the previous card, average age, utilization, how much debt you have. But apparently when I actually go to request a credit line increase, which actually would be with the partner bank of this credit card, which would actually be Synchrony Bank, people have found that their credit limits were easily 3x, 4x, even 5x on the highest end when they just ask for a credit line increase. And usually a lot of people ask this credit card about once every 90 days for a credit line increase. So it seems like it's fairly easy to get really high credit limits with this credit card. And I've actually seen somebody that got a starting out limit of $20,000, which at this point is the max I've seen so far, but it could be higher. Other than that, another unique perk that actually comes with this credit card is on the back of your Venmo Rewards credit card, you actually get a unique QR code that goes right into your Venmo account, which I guess, if nothing else, you could just kind of wave it around and hope someone scans it and sends you money for nothing. And I guess one other notable thing I found on Reddit was somebody said that it actually processes the transactions so quickly that even the store clerks are impressed. So I guess if you're into that kind of thing. And requesting a credit line increase is really just as easy as calling the bank up directly, or even some people have the ability to go through the Venmo app and request a credit line increase just through a little button. Now, the third credit card on our list is the Navy Flagship Rewards credit card. Now, this one comes with a huge caveat and is a little bit of a barrier of entry, so let me explain. Now, this credit card is only open to applicants who have had military experience, currently in the military, or have a relationship with somebody that's in the military or was in the military at some point. Like, for example, if your grandfather was in the Army or really any branch of the military whatsoever, you can essentially call up the Navy Federal Credit Union who actually carries this credit card, tell them about your relationship with this person and how they were in the military, and after a little bit of consideration, they should approve you for a checking account, savings account, and then subsequently a credit card with the the Navy Federal Credit Union. And this credit card typically also requires a credit score of around 650 or higher to get approved. But once you're approved, oh man, listen to this. This credit card comes with 3 points per dollar spent on all travel-related purchases, and 2 points per dollar spent on all purchases, and since Navy Federal points are actually worth 1 cent per point, that's essentially like getting 2% cash back on all purchases. But the main reason to get this credit card is because it's actually a part of the Visa Signature series. If you're unfamiliar, Visa Signature credit cards often come with a minimum credit limit of $5,000. So no matter what, if you get approved for this credit card, your minimum limit is going to be $5,000, which is already not bad. But typically, I've seen a lot of people, depending on your debt, depending on your relationship with this bank, do you actually use their services or not? But I've seen a lot of people actually get approved for limits in the 10s to 20,000, so even 30,000 limits on the first go. And then every 90 days, they'll still request a credit line increase and get like an extra 5 to 10,000 every single time they do it, to where I've actually seen someone have an 80,000 credit limit through this credit card, which I can't even speak how crazy that is. Honestly, if you have someone in your family that was in the military, take advantage where you can. And they also offer a lot of different things like home loans, car loans, etc., but that's for a different video. And actually, just for a limited time, I'm offering something. Right now, if you hit that like and subscribe button, I will open up a package that I just got in the mail. Ah, you see that? You were interested, I gave you a proposition, and you followed through, so thank you so much for subscribing, and let me open it up. We'll get this nice ASMR opening, right? Alright, let's see what this is. Alrighty. Alright, and there we go. We have our nice Hot Wheels Cybertruck, and we're going to put that right over here. Okay, so moving on from that, let's go on to the fourth credit card on our list, which is actually one that most people don't talk about. So the fourth credit card is the Hilton branded American Express credit cards. That's right, I know this is out of left field, but let me show you something. So for me personally, a little over a year ago, I got approved for this credit card and it actually gave me a starting limit of $10,000, and I only had a credit score of around low 700s at that time. And even at the time, that was the highest credit limit that I've ever gotten on any credit card, and still, that remains to this day. And if you're wondering, no, it's not actually a charge card like all the other American Express cards where you actually have to pay off the balance and the credit limit doesn't actually count towards your credit score. This is technically a credit card, which means you can carry a balance, and that $10,000 does actually get put on your credit report. This credit card also comes with no annual fee, a multitude of perks that just give you points back categories based on if you're spending money at Hilton's, restaurants, gas stations, actually a lot of different things. And the credit score, again, to get approved for this credit card is mid-600s, and I think it's one of the best value credit cards you can get today, considering the sign-up bonus is you just have to spend $1,000 within the first 3 months of opening the card, and you get back a value of around, $500 to $700. Depending on your sign-up bonus. And the lowest credit limit I've seen people have is around $1,000, and the highest I've seen is around $20,000, so I guess anything in between could be you. And again, this really depends on American Express. Typically, American Express is very generous with their credit limits. Like even for my fiance, she just got approved for this credit card, and it's her first American Express credit card of all time. And she even got a credit limit of $10,000 right off the bat. Another good thing about American Express credit cards is once you have a few, they actually don't give you a hard pull for each subsequent card opening. Because once you're in that ecosystem, they kind of trust you, they have history with you, and they give you a soft pull for all of the credit cards that you open up going forward. You can request a credit line increase every 90 days if you're not happy with your initial starting credit limit. Now, the fifth and last credit card on our list today is one that's kind of a fan favorite. I get it's a little bit of cliche, but let me tell you the facts. But the fifth credit card is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. This credit card has a $95 annual fee. With this credit card, you're going to be getting 5 points per dollar spent on all travel, 2% cashback on all other travel-related purchases, 3% cashback on dining, 3% cashback on select streaming services, and 1 point per dollar spent everywhere else. One good perk you guys heard a little bit earlier with the Navy Federal credit card that actually is a part of the Visa Signature series. Well, the Chase Sapphire Preferred is also part of the Visa Signature series, so you know what that means. A $5,000 starting limit no matter what. Now with this credit card, I've seen so many different starting limits. I've seen people with 10,000, 20,000 starting limits, 50,000. I even heard or read somebody on Reddit had a credit limit of $500,000 on this credit card, which I don't even know if that's real, but that's crazy if so. But I guess for the average, for most people, when they actually get approved for this credit card, it's between $5,000 and $20,000, depending on your income, your average age of credit. You heard this already. And it's definitely one of those banks that if you do request a credit line line increase, you better have some kind of changes to your income, much higher income, or just your average age of your credit cards are a lot older than they were prior. And especially, it always helps to have some sort of relationship with this bank, as Chase offers a lot of different services like car loans, home loans, checking accounts, savings accounts. So pretty much the more services you have, the more of a relationship, the higher the starting credit limit. Because honestly, with that tip and you guys hitting the like and subscribe button because you really like the Cybertruck so far, this video was mostly about the specific credit cards and the ceiling for certain credit limits. But what if you want to raise the credit limits on the cards you have already? So if you guys want to see a breakdown on the video that I did on how to actually raise your credit limits based on the cards you already have, I'll direct you to this video on the left.